Good morning, everyone, including those joining us online, and welcome to Unity Spiritual Center of Windsor. My name is Judy. I'm your host today, and Reverend David is my co-host.
You know, whatever your faith, background, your race, gender, sexual orientation, age, or ability, you are welcome here. We come together to encourage and to support one another in our individual spiritual journeys. And so wherever you are in that process, we're glad that you joined us today, and we're happy to be on this journey with you.
While it is a well-traveled land, we would like to respectfully acknowledge that the land in which we gather today is the traditional territory of the Three Fires Confederacy of First Nations, comprised of the Ojibwe, the Odawa, and the Potawatomi peoples. We are grateful to work, learn, and live in this area. So today, we're fortunate to have back Charlene Reed as our musician, and always enjoy it when you're here, Char.
Thank you. I love being here. Thank you.
And I am so glad to have Judy up here hosting today.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure having you here. And Judy, I would like to invite you to open us in prayer.
Okay. So as we get centered today and prepare ourselves to receive the message that Reverend David has for us, let's remember this, that we are all one with the one presence and the one power in the universe and in our lives. We don't get anything on the outside. We just need to remember to go inside to the presence. That's where the answers are. It's all provided to us. That intelligence is within us as energy, as that aliveness. We have everything we need to make the connection in this moment. So let's open up our hearts and our minds to the greater truth of who we are. We are a channel through which the divine expresses, and we are expressing that divinity right now, and we are grateful. And so it is. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Judy. I do want to let everyone know that we do have our prayer chaplain today on duty. It's Lucy Croker here, and she is available for prayer after the service upstairs in our prayer room. So if anyone would like someone to pray with them, Lucy will be there for you. Thank you for being here, Lucy.
And again, we have our prayer request box right over here to the right with slips and a pencil there. So just place your prayer request in the box, and the prayer chaplains will pray over it for the next 30 days. And as well, we have 24/7 prayer support through Silent Unity, and the number is 1-800-NOW-PRAY.
Well, now it's time for our first song, and if everyone, if you're willing and able, please stand up and we'll sing our first and then our second song. So what do we have here?
We're going to be singing, We're Going to Be Lifted Up. Here we go. We're gonna be lifted up
when we sing. We're gonna be lifted up, carried away. If we open up and let the Spirit move us, we're gonna be lifted up.
It's a dreary road,
We're burdened down, got a heavy load, no help around. Just open up and let the Spirit take us to higher ground.
We're gonna be
Lifted up. When we sing, we're gonna be lifted up and carried away. If we open up and let Spirit move us, we're gonna be lifted up.
It's a cloudy day,
We're feeling down. The sky is gray, no sun around. Just open up and let the Spirit lift us above the clouds.
We're gonna
Be lifted up. When we sing, we're gonna be lifted up and carried away. If we open up and let the Spirit move us, we're gonna be lifted up.
We're gonna
Be lifted up. When we sing, we're gonna be lifted up and carried away. If we open up and let the Spirit move us, we're gonna be lifted. We're gonna be lifted. We're gonna be lifted. Lifted up. Lifted up. We're gonna be lifted up. Woo!
Wow, I got an applause. I feel so much better after having sung that.
We do too.
Thank you. Next one is I Can Do Anything. There we go.
I can do anything I make up my mind to do. I've got a thing inside that I was designed to do.
And
Nothing can hold me back
if
I don't want it to.
'Cause I can do anything I
Make up my mind to do.
'Cause if I can
Think, then I can dream. And what I can dream, I can believe. And when I believe, then I will see. I can do anything, anything.
I can be
Anyone that I decide to be. I have a great big dream growing inside of me.
And
No one can bring me down, 'cause I know what's right for me.
I can be anyone
That I decide to be.
'Cause
If I can think, then I can dream. And what I can dream, I can believe. And when I believe, then I will see. I can do anything, anything. I can do anything I make up my mind to do. I've got a thing inside that I was designed to do.
And
Nothing can hold me back if I don't want it to.
'Cause I can do anything I
make up my mind to do.
'Cause I can do anything I make up my mind to do. Cha-cha-cha.
Thank you, Shar. Those were good picks. I enjoyed those.
I'm always waiting for the cha-cha-cha. Okay, so we're just talking a little bit about unity. We are a progressive spiritual community that emphasizes personal growth, living consciously, and making a positive difference in the world. As part of New Thought and the worldwide unity movement, we strive to be compassionate, inclusive, open-minded, service-oriented, abundant, and spirit-filled.
Unity teaches that each person is a unique individual expression of God. Our realization of that truth evolves as we expand our consciousness through prayer and meditation. Unity emphasizes that we create our experiences of life according to the thoughts and feelings that we hold in mind. Affirmative prayer is the highest form of creative thought, while meditation stills the mind and heightens our awareness of our oneness with spirit, with each other, and all of life. And living from that awareness transforms our lives and the world.
And our monthly affirmation for April is, the Christ Spirit within me is eternally renewing and resurrecting my entire being. Will you please affirm that with me? The Christ Spirit within me is eternally renewing and resurrecting my entire being.
And now we have some special music.
Lately, have you seen the sun, or have you walked in shade, mid shadows you have made? Lately, have you seen a star, for even in the night there's still a guiding light? For God is there for all to find, and those who do not find perhaps must say they're blind. For God is there for all to know, and those who never find God real perhaps reveal they do not want it so. Lately, have you sought for truth? The clues are all around. By searching, they are found. Lately, have you longed to know life's secret? Lately, have you seen the sun? Lately, have you seen a star? Lately, have you looked for God? Lately, have you wondered why each venture that you've tried has failed to satisfy? Lately, have you lost your way, and yet you've wandered on, not knowing where you've gone? For God is there for all to seek, your hungerings to feed, to meet our deepest need. For God is there to show the way, to lead us ever upward, onward, into brighter, clearer day. Lately, have you paused to pray, or are you still too proud, defiantly unbowed? Lately, have you sought the why, the wherefore? Lately, have you seen the sun? Lately, have you seen a star? Lately, have you looked for God?
Shar, thank you so much. That was lovely. Good choices of music today. It's good to see all of you. Welcome. So I always enjoy, as you know, starting out with a little joke. I think humor is good for the soul. However, when I get to the end of my, when I start coming up with puns, you know I'm getting to the end of my list of jokes. So today we have puns, some puns about the hospital. And Shar is one of my favorite audiences, members, because she likes puns, I think. So this is about hospitals. So where's the worst place to hide in a hospital? In the ICU. You're not supposed to be groaning, you're supposed to be laughing. No, I'm kidding. So a little boy swallowed some coins and was taken to the hospital. When I asked how he was, the nurse said, "No change yet." I just heard a new Canadian strain of COVID. People are showing up to the hospital, symptomatic. A little boy was admitted to the hospital after swallowing 6 plastic horses. His condition has been described as stable. A man runs into the hospital in a frenzy, yelling, "I'm shrinking, I'm shrinking." A nurse approaches him and says, "Sir, you're just going to have to be a little patient." What hospital extension do you call for a woman going into labor? Dial 8. Why don't mining towns have hospitals? Because everyone there only ever suffers from minor injuries. And what fish work in hospitals? Sturgeons. And what is it called when a hospital loses all of its labor and delivery nurses? A midwife crisis. And for the last but not least, why did the cookie go to the hospital? Because he just felt crummy. Right, crummy. That's it. So there is my puns for the day. And I hope you were lifted up. Oh, you know, I think back when I first discovered Unity, and you know, Unity and other churches have done surveys and come up with the number, you know, the good reasons why people normally, you know, end up coming to a spiritual center like this. And some people actually, they just feel like they're being guided there. They feel like they should go. And then other people, we come to meet other people, of like-minded people, and to share with them. And then we come here to really explore our understanding of God, of the divine, and our relationship to it. But the number one reason that is people come here, and like I say, I look at my life in particular, and the number one reason is that there was a need. They felt a need that wasn't being met. It could be they were suffering pain for some reason, for difficulties of health or finances or relationships. A divorce, for example, or a job loss, or just unexplainable depression. When people start suffering like that, they look for something to relieve them. And first reason is I sort of call, I think people are looking for what I call spiritual healing. And that's, by the way, is the title for my talk today, Spiritual Healing, the Quest for Wholeness. And like I said, when I first discovered Unity, I was facing bankruptcy. I'd just gotten through, finished a 12-year partnership. And it was, it was just really just bringing me down. And I discovered Unity. And what a refreshing just change of mindset that all brought about. And who'd have thunk it? Here, all these years later, I'd be standing up here as a Unity minister. So, spiritual healing, the quest for wholeness. So I'm going to invite you to join me in a quest for wholeness. A quest is a journey that requires inquiry, investigation, and exploration, which we will be doing together for the next few months in this series of talks that I'm going to be doing. And this series of talks is based on Robert Brumit's book, The Quest for Wholeness, Healing Ourselves and Healing Our World. And this book is a beautifully written summation of the path to wholeness, and it's an excellent guide for discovering your true nature, your soul, and healing all aspects of your human life. To get the most out of this series of talks, I do highly recommend that you purchase the book and use it as the excellent spiritual guide that it was meant to be. It's available on Kindle if you want to download it. And I also looked under Amazon, and there's all sorts of inexpensive paperbacks that you can get. And so I do encourage you to get the book. It's a great little guide. It's the quest for wholeness, healing ourselves, healing our world. And I do suggest that you purchase it if you can. And also, I did a letter. I sent out a letter most weeks, and this week I sent out one. And if you haven't read the letter that I sent out Thursday, that's an introduction to the book. So I suggest that you read that as well. So I've had the pleasure of knowing Robert Brumit since 2008. And 2008 is when I entered the Unity Ministerial School, the Unity Institute, at Unity Village right outside of Kansas City. And I lived there on the campus and did my studies. And Robert became one of my favorite teachers. He's the one that was doing my instruction in psychology, prayer and meditation, spiritual counseling, and pastoral care. Also taught me the Enneagram. Anyway, I was really fortunate also to have him as my personal spiritual director. In his book, Brumit describes a spiritual healer as a person who is dedicated to developing his own wholeness as well as the wholeness of others. He is a person who is committed to his own spiritual awakening and to the awakening of others. Both our vision and mission statement here at Unity Spiritual Center of Windsor boldly proclaim that we strive to be a people who inspire and empower spiritual growth in order to fully awaken ourselves so that we, in turn, can be the agents of transformation, not only for ourselves, but for the entire world. As I'm always saying or reminding you, a transformed world will only be brought about by a transformed people. And that is our mission here at Unity Spiritual Center, Windsor. Brummett says a spiritual healer is a person who is willing and able to be a channel for God's healing power in whatever form is necessary. Spiritual healing is the process by which we become whole. Yet, in one sense, we are already whole because wholeness is our true nature. Brummett says spiritual healing is a process of seeking, discovering, experiencing, and expressing our true nature, which is wholeness itself. So spiritual healing is making visible the wholeness that lies invisible within each of us. And to truly understand the nature of spiritual healing, well, we must first understand our own true nature. You know, our first unity principle is the foundation of all spiritual healing. And our first unity principle is that there is only one presence, one power, one reality. We call it God, we call it good, we call it divine mind, we call it source. We are each individual expressions of this one reality. This is our true nature, which is wholeness itself. You know, the English word holy is derived from a word that meaning whole and complete. And spirit is whole and complete, lacking nothing. It is one, and we are one with it. So we are intrinsically spiritual beings. And as spiritual beings, we cannot be sick, poor, or unhappy because we are wholeness itself. As human beings, we can be sick, poor, unhappy, and many of us are. Brummett says this is a paradox with which we live. Our potential is great, and so is our suffering. Our divinity gets lost in the guise of our humanity. So humanity is the vehicle through which we are expressing our true nature. We are spiritual beings having human experiences, but most humans believe the converse to be true. Most people believe that they are innately human and then strive to become more spiritual. As Brummett points out, what we have done is we've turned reality upside down. The truth of the matter is that we cannot become more spiritual because our true nature is spirit. A Chinese proverb says, the snow goose need do nothing to make itself white. The snow goose need do nothing to make itself white. And we need to do nothing to make ourselves become more spiritual. For Brummett, human suffering is a result of this reversed understanding of reality. Our experience of suffering is caused by our misplaced identity. Yes, we are human beings, but first and foremost, we are spiritual beings. Spiritual healing is a full realization of this truth. Human suffering is a result of believing something to be real that isn't. We have embraced the unreal as real, and as a result, we experience suffering. We embrace facts as reality, and they are not. We embrace appearances as reality, and they are not. Facts change and appearances change. Reality does not. As the opening lines of A Course in Miracles assures us, nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. So we each embrace many illusions because from the moment of our birth we are educated or programmed, if you will, in unreality. by our parents, siblings, friends, culture, government, religion, and school. The poet William Wordsworth said that our birth is but a sleep and a forgetting. Our sleep is not a fault or failing on our part, but it's simply inherent in our human experience. Brummett says our suffering is not a punishment, nor is it a sign that we are sinful or flawed. It is simply a sign that at this stage of our evolution, we are more identified with our humanity than our divinity. And this is the present human condition. This is the sleep from which we are to awaken. There's an early story about the Buddha that soon, right after his enlightenment, he went out on the road, and on the road he passed a man. And this man was struck by the Buddha's extraordinary radiance and peacefulness of presence. The man stopped and asked, "My friend, what are you? Are you a celestial being or a god?" The Buddha said, "No." "Well then, are you some kind of magician or wizard?" "No." "Well, my friend, what are you then?" The Buddha replied, "I am awake." The basis of our sleep is our alienation from our true nature, which is divine. In this experience of separation from our true nature, we experience separation from others, from the world around us, and from ourselves. We have learned to perceive reality as outside of us rather than within. We have learned to experience ourselves as separate, vulnerable, physical beings surrounded by a potentially hostile world. Our lives are lived trying to protect and defend this vulnerable, separate self. Brummett says we are blind to our own greatness, and this blindness is our sickness. To become whole is to recognize our own greatness, and we cannot see our greatness as separate beings, but only when we know we are eternally connected to our source and to one another. Because of our basic sense of separation, we develop many false beliefs, many illusions about ourselves and about others. We may believe that we are unlovable or unworthy or inadequate. We may believe that others are untrustworthy, unlovable, and even dangerous. We may fail to recognize that these beliefs are the product of our personal conditioning and of a culture which tends to perpetuate these beliefs. While we take these illusions to be real, we may experience a great deal of suffering. So, spiritual healing lies in knowing who and what we really are. Intellectual knowing is a start, but it is far from sufficient. Burnett says most of our illusions are embedded deep in the subconscious. For healing to occur, the knowing must go as deep as the illusion. Much of the spiritual healing process involves uncovering and healing those illusions buried deep within the mind. Spiritual healing is replacing error with truth, with a capital T, with truth in our consciousness. It is becoming free from the limiting illusions that we have unwittingly embraced. In John 8:32, Jesus says, "You will know the truth, and the truth will make you free." By this realization, we are deeply changed. both in body and heart and mind. Spiritual healing is the death of an old and limited way of life, and is the resurrection of a new and expanded way of being. This is what Jesus was speaking about when he said, "You must be born again." For Brummett, suffering is the symptom. Believing an illusion to be the reality is the cause of suffering, he says. Realizing truth is the remedy. Our primary illusion is a deep-seated perception of separation from our source, from our true nature, which we call God. Conversely, the primary truth, the foundation of all healing, is the realization of our innate oneness with Spirit, with our source, with our true nature. So we are spiritual beings having a human experience. Our spiritual nature is the reality of who we are. The role of our human nature is to serve as an expression of our spiritual nature. To the degree that it does, we live with ease and joy. To the extent that it does not, we experience suffering and disease. It's important for us to understand that our mind, that our human and spiritual natures are not different. In essence, they're not different. In reality, the body and the mind are spiritual as well. We are spiritual beings expressing ourselves as human beings. We do not wear our humanity as we wear a coat or a hat. The separate categories of spirit, mind, and body are artificially created simply to aid our understanding. From the mind's viewpoint, they appear very different, yet in reality, they are not. So by analogy, we see that H2O can appear in different forms. Excuse me. It can appear in different forms, but it is always the same substance. H2O appears in a solid form as an ice or snow. In liquid, it appears as water. And in a gaseous or vapor, or as a gaseous form, it shows up as vapor. Yet in essence, H2O is all the same substance. So the solid body that we have may appear very different from the invisible spirit, yet it is in essence the same. Brummett wants us to understand that the distinction between humanness and spirituality is artificial because no real difference exists. The difference is simply a perspective. We may believe that we are only human, and that belief creates our human experiences. Yet the reality of what we are does not change. We use the terms human and spirituality or spiritual simply because these are different ways of seeing ourselves. We typically see ourselves as human beings rather than spiritual beings. But in reality, we are simultaneously both. This recognition that body and mind and spirit are of one substance is extremely important in spiritual healing. In the illusion of separation, we not only separate body and mind from spirit, but we usually separate body and mind from each other. In reality, the body and mind cannot be separated, for they are both in essence spirit. Spiritual healing embraces every dimension of our nature. In reality, every level of our being is spiritual. Therefore, spiritual healing includes all the levels. Brummett reminds us that in our desire for spiritual healing, it's important for us not to be attached to a specific image of how the healing should appear. He says spiritual healing manifests itself in as many ways as there are individuals manifesting it. Spiritual healing is a movement toward greater wholeness of being, and this can take many forms. Spiritual healing can include any form of conventional healing as well as any form of alternate healing. It is not a function of the treatment method, but is a function of the view we hold and how we incorporate that view into the healing process. I want to repeat that. It is not a function of the treatment method, but is a function of the view we hold and how we incorporate that view into the healing process. Brummett says spiritual healing can occur when we see every need for healing as an opportunity for greater awareness of our true nature and an opportunity to express more of our inherent wholeness. So healing comes in many forms. Wholeness has many faces. It is essential that we let our minds and hearts become open to healing and wholeness in the very deepest sense of these words. As spiritual beings having human experiences, one of the purposes of our human experience is to discover that we are gods in disguise. Brummett says, perhaps suffering in all its myriad forms is but a symptom of the unawareness of our spiritual nature. We have embraced the illusion of separation from our source. We have embraced the illusion of only humanness. Our suffering is a result of that illusion. We could say that suffering may serve as a very useful function. It can serve as an incentive and an opportunity to let go of an illusion and to embrace truth. It is an opportunity to become more than we have been. The experience of spiritual healing always begins with our knowledge of the one and only reality, the true source of all of life, love, wisdom, and healing. We are expressions of this source that we call God the Good. This knowledge is a necessary condition for all spiritual healing. If this knowledge is deep enough, it may also be a sufficient condition. That is, it may be all that is necessary. Healing may then occur without any overt change in thinking, feeling, or behavior, and without any physical intervention. Healing may occur from nothing more than this deep realization of truth. On the other hand, it may be necessary to change or intervene at one or more of the other levels. Physical treatment of the body may be in order. Modifying our diet, behavior, or lifestyle may be necessary. Exploring and releasing suppressed emotions or memories might be called for. A change in one's belief system, or values, or self-image may be required for healing to occur. Spiritual healing may include any or all of these facets. Each change is seen to be guided by Spirit and leads to a deep awareness of Spirit. You know, an example of spiritual healing, of a spiritual healing system that includes one or more of these modalities is the 12-step recovery program. You know, this program is designed to facilitate spiritual healing for those persons addicted to substances or behaviors that are harmful to themselves or others. The program begins with an admission that we, functioning solely from our human nature, cannot heal ourselves. Only by surrendering to a higher power is healing possible. Some of the steps in this healing process include changing one's behavior, lifestyle, and belief systems, as well as asking for and extending forgiveness and making amends when appropriate. This movement, this 12-step recovery program movement, is leaderless, does not follow the teachings of a particular person, and does not proselytize. And yet, it is perhaps one of the most successful spiritual healing movements in the world today. Its success is a testimony to the power of Spirit working through human beings who are committed to spiritual healing. Rummage says that ultimately all healing is a mystery. Whether healing occurs through an apparent miracle or through a conventional medical procedure, the actual mechanism of healing cannot be totally understood. The miracle of life itself can never be totally understood. Just as a farmer can create the conditions for corn to grow, but can never make the corn itself grow, so a physician, a psychologist, or a spiritual practitioner can create the conditions for healing to occur, but she can never create the healing itself. Spiritual healing is deep, profound, and mysterious. It is ultimately beyond definition and beyond the understanding of the human mind. But it is not beyond our reach. It is not beyond our ability to experience it. This ability is inherent within each of us. As I bring this talk to a close and we begin to prepare for our meditation, I do invite you to continue with me on this quest. And I'll be doing this in little pieces. I'll do one more this month, and then I'll do, I think, 3 next month. And I do encourage you to get the book. It's a great little book on spiritual discovery with meditations and exercises in it. And it'll be a great book to read on your own and to follow with as we go through this quest for wholeness. So at this time, let's prepare for a meditation. So I do invite you to just get comfortable in your seat. And you may close your eyes if you want to, but just relax. Just relax and remember that our spiritual nature is the reality of who we are. So we just relax, letting our minds become settled, letting our bodies become still. And in this stillness, we open our hearts and we open our minds to the truth of who we are. The truth of who we are is our health, is our wholeness, is our life. The experience of spiritual healing always begins with our knowledge of the one and only reality, the true source of all life, of love, of wisdom, and healing. We are expressions of this one source, one life. So we open our hearts and we open our minds fully and completely, surrendering to this moment, allowing ourselves to feel the truth that we are one with each other, one with Spirit, one with all of life. And in this oneness, there is nothing to fear. In this oneness, there is nothing but love. So in this oneness of love and peace, let us just spend a little bit of time just resting in the silence, being completely, totally open and receptive to the wisdom within us. continue to remain in this silence, I do suggest and ask that you just think of any healing that you may feel you need. And just bring that into your heart. It might be a healed relationship. It might be a healing financially. It might be a peace of mind. It may be something of your body. But if there is anything on your heart and mind, then I hold it there in your heart. And I ask you to be fully open and receptive to the healing that is available right here, right now, today. As you open your heart and as you open your mind, the healing is here. It's within you. And as you open to it, as you ask for it, you shall receive. That ask and you shall receive is a universal spiritual law. So we just rest here for a little bit longer, fully open and fully receptive to the guidance that is within us. So I invite you to bring your attention back to this space, this time. And as you do so, just hold within your heart a sense of real gratitude. Gratitude for answered prayer. Gratitude for this life and all of its blessings. And so it is. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Reverend David, for that wonderful talk and the introduction to the book. I've been wanting to go deeper into such things as healing, get that sort of consciousness that Myrtle Fillmore had. And so I'm looking forward to the transformation, become more awake. So thank you so much. And boy, the angels were singing today. Wonderful.
So at this time, let us take to heart our vision, mission, and statement of being, which is shown on the screen.
We have a global vision. Will you please speak it with me? Our vision is a world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening.
And we have a sacred mission. Will you say it with me? We inspire and empower spiritual growth to awaken us and transform the world.
And our personal statement of being. Please say this together. I am a dynamic center of the Christ light, mighty to unfold my good and radiate that good to all.
And we do have a few announcements to let you know about. I'm going to sneak one in right here that's not on the screen, and that is that after at 12:30 today, Claudia, Claudio, our new ministry team coordinator, is calling a meeting for all of the team leaders. So we'll be meeting to see how we can work together more efficiently. And I'm very delighted to have Claudio filling that position. Thank you so much, Claudio. So Louise Klimczak, who is here today, and glad to have her. She will be facilitating an experiential interactive workshop, Natural Healing, How Your Thoughts Affect Your Health. So this is our next upcoming seminar being presented by the seminar team. It is Saturday the 6th, May the 6th, 10 to 1 p.m. And you can visit our website for details and pre-registration. And Louise is here, and if you have any questions, you can also speak to her.
And that's next Saturday.
Yeah, it is next Saturday, right.
And there's also a sign-up sheet up in hospitality, so if you'd like to add your name if you're coming, so we know how much food to bring along. Unity Canada has announced 4 new spirit groups for the spring session. Check out the newsletter for details and registration.
Well, also next week's Sunday, which is May the 7th, the Interfaith Group of Windsor and Essex are hosting a Getting to Know You friendship event. And there's a lot of us here that are planning on going. It's from 2 until 5. It's at the Church of the Ascension. And you can see Maria Datillo to sign up. Maria's right over here. And so anyway, I'm looking forward to it. Also, what they're doing is it is a meet and greet with the interfaith group, and they're inviting people to bring some type of finger food or something that you can share. So everybody be bringing some food and sharing. So we'd love to see you there.
Join us next Sunday, May 7th, as Reverend David welcomes his co-presenter, Devani Peters. Yay. Divine Conversations, Trusting Your Inner Guidance. Well, this is new.
It is. We're gonna
always something new here.
We're gonna do something new. We're gonna set up here just like Oprah, just set up here
which one's Oprah? I just want to know.
And we're just gonna talk. We're gonna be talking about divine guidance, and so it is something new. We invite you to come. And also, just to let you know that Lucy is here as our prayer chaplain today, and she will be upstairs in the prayer room to pray with you. And just thank you, Lucy, for your service.
All of our classes, programs, and services are made possible by your generous donations. Our heartfelt thanks for your continuous support. We've created many easy ways to donate, which you can find on our website.
And we do have a love offering box right up here to the front for those of you here. And thank you again. You are the ones that make all of this happen. And so we appreciate so much your generous donations.
So if everyone would please stand up, and we'll open up our hearts and minds in gratitude as we close by speaking out loud or silently to ourselves our love offering prayer, followed by the peace song and the prayer for protection. So together, divine love in me and through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment Live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. The light of God surrounds us.
I am light.
The love of God enfolds us.
I am love.
The power of God protects us.
I am power.
The presence of God watches over us.
I am presence.
And wherever we are, God is.
I am divine.
And my friends, you truly are. Thank you so much for being here, and please come upstairs and join us.